Good morning, students. Today's class is related to the revision of geography and economics both. But first of all, I will revise chapter number 5 from geography. And the name of the chapter is Minerals and Energy Resources. So students, the definition of mineral is a homogeneous, naturally occurring substances normally found in solid, liquid, and gaseous states. So students, on the basis of occurrence, there are two types of minerals, metallic and non-metallic. And metallic mineral is also classified into ferrous and non-ferrous. So students, ferrous minerals contains iron, for example, iron ore, manganese, chromite, pyrite, nickel, and cobalt. And non-ferrous minerals contain gold, silver, copper, lead, bauxite, tin, and magnesium. And after that, second category is non-metallic minerals, and these are limestones, nitrate, potash, mica, gypsum, coal, and petroleum. So students, you know very well that various metals are extracted from these minerals after proper refinement, and minerals are an indispensable or very important part of our lives. For example, the railway lines and the buildings or a big ship and even road, all are made by the different kind of minerals. And students, even the food that we eat contains minerals. Okay, and minerals are found in varied forms in nature, ranging from the hardest diamond to the softest talc. And rock are combination of homogeneous substances, also called minerals. And students, over 2000 minerals have been identified. Only a few are abundantly found in most of the rocks. Okay. After that, next topic is mode of occurrence of minerals. So students, minerals are usually found in ores, and the term ore is used to describe an accumulation of any minerals mixed with other elements. And this also determines the cost of understanding the main types of formation, in which the main types of formations occur. Number one is, in igneous and metamorphic rocks, minerals may occur in the cracks, crevices, faults, or join the smaller occurrences are called veins, and the larger are called lodes. Okay. Point number 2. In sedimentary rocks, a number of minerals occur in beds or layers, and they have been formed as a result of deposition, accumulation, and concentration in horizontal strata. And another mode of formation involves the decomposition of surface rocks and the removal of soluble constituents, leaving a residual mass of withered material containing ores. Okay. Next point, certain minerals may occur as alluvial deposits in sands of valley floors and the bases of hills, or on the base of hills. And next point is, the ocean water contain vast quantities of minerals to be of economic signification, common salt, magnesium, and water like. And the ocean beds too are rich in manganese nodules. Okay. After that, I will explain about ferrous minerals. So students, ferrous minerals account for about 3/4 of the total value of the production of metallic minerals. And ferrous minerals are iron ore and manganese. So students, you have to learn detailed information about the iron ore and manganese, like what is the importance of iron ore and manganese on the basis of economic point of view, and what is the total production of iron ore and manganese in India, and places where these ferrous minerals are found. You have to learn about all. Okay. After that, non-ferrous minerals. So students, India's reserves and production of non-ferrous minerals is not very satisfactory. And in non-ferrous minerals, you have to learn and read in detail about copper and bauxite. Okay, very detailed, like what is the total percentage of production of copper and bauxite, and where these non-ferrous minerals are found, and what is the importance of these two non-ferrous minerals in Indian economy. After that, next is non-metallic minerals. So students, mica is an example of non-metallic minerals, and many important points related to the mica is given in your book and chapter. You have to read and learn about the occurrence of the mica and percentage of the production of mica in India and uses, and also you have to learn about the places where mica is found. Okay. After that, next topic is rock minerals. So students, limestone is the example of a rock mineral, and it is found in association with composed of calcium carbonate or calcium and magnesium carbonates. Next topic is conservation of minerals. So students, you know very well that the strong dependence of industry and agriculture upon mineral deposits and the substances manufactured from them. So the total volume of workable mineral deposits is an insignificant fraction, and the rates of replenishment are infinitely small in the comparison of use nowadays. And now time to come to conserve all kind of minerals or mineral resources in a planned and sustainable manner. Okay, like if we can do, then we can use the public transport system more frequently and switch off electricity whenever not required, use power saving devices or check the power equipment regularly, and use non-conventional sources of energy more frequently. So student, in this way we can conserve different kind of minerals and all the materials whatever available in our environment. Okay. After that, next topic is energy resources. So students, you know very well that energy is required for all activities, and it is needed to cook, to provide light, and to heat. Okay. And energy can be generated from fuel minerals like coal, petroleum, and natural gas, uranium, and from electricity. And students, it consumes most valuable manure which could be used in agriculture also. So students, anyhow, as I told you in my above explanation, that we have to conserve all kind of minerals and sources of energy also. So students, in this series, you have to learn about the conventional and non-conventional sources of energy. So students, conventional sources of energy are coal, petroleum, natural gas, and electricity. So students, you have to learn and read in detail about the occurrence of coal, petroleum, natural gas, and electricity, and also you have to learn about their types, and also you have to learn and prepare where they are found, okay, and what is the importance of all conventional energy resources, okay. After that, non-conventional sources of energy. So students, the growing consumption of energy has resulted in the country becoming increasingly dependent on fossil fuel such as coal and gas. So students, there is a pressing needs to use renewable energy sources like solar energy, wind, tide, biomass, and energy which we can develop from waste materials. And these are called non-conventional energy sources, okay. So the sources of non-conventional energy are solar energy, wind energy, biogas, and geothermal energy and tidal energy. So students, in this topic you have also read and learn about the development of solar, wind, biogas, and geothermal, and about tidal energy, how we can generate and develop, or what is the uses of and what is the importance of all these non-conventional sources of energy, okay. All right. And the last topic is conservation of energy resources. So students, you know very well that energy is basic requirement for economic development, and the economic development plans implemented since independence necessarily required increasing amount of energy to remain operational. And promotion of energy conservation and increased use of renewable energy sources are the two planks of sustainable energy. And India is presently one of the least energy efficient countries in the world. So students, if energy saved, then energy produced. All right. All right students, so here the revision of chapter number 5, minerals and energy resources, is completed. After that, economics, chapter number 1, development. So students, in this topic you have to learn about the development. So one question will arise here, that what is development? So students, the definition of development is defined as growth. Some of the important goals are seeking more income, equal treatment, freedom, security, respect from others. And student, as you know very well that different people have different development goals, What may be development for one may not be for the other. Okay? And it may even be destructive for the other. After that, next topic is income and other goals. So students, as I told you in my previous explanation, that people desire regular work, better wages, and decent price for their crops or other products. And people also seek equal treatment, freedom, security, respect of others, and no discrimination between anyone. And students, as you know very well, that money or material things that one can buy with it is one factor on which life depends. And also quality of our life depends on non-material things. So friendship is also very important goal for someone. And before accepting a job, everyone looks at facilities for your family and for working atmosphere or opportunity to learn. So students, finally we can say development means people look at mix of goal. Okay? After that, next topic is criteria to compare economic development of countries. So students, usually we take one or more important characteristics of person and compare them based on these characteristics. So students, for comparing countries, their income is considered to be one of the most important attributes. And countries with higher income are more developed than others with less income. And the income of the country is the income of all the residents of the country. And this gives us the total income of the country. So students, for comparison between countries, total income is not such useful measure. As well as we compare the average income, which is the country divided by its total population. And the average income is also called per capita income. Okay? So students, in World Development Report brought out by the World Bank, this, like countries with per capita income of USD 1,02,736 per annum and above in 2013 are called rich countries, and those with per capita income of USD only 1,570 or less are called low income countries. So students, India comes in the category of low middle income countries because its per capita income in 2013 was just 1,570 US dollar per income. All right. After that, national development. So students, it is very important to keep in mind that different persons could have different as well as conflicting notions of a country's development. And national development means thinking about fair and just path for all, whether there is a better way of doing things. Okay. After that, next topic is income and other criteria. So student, let us compare the per capita income of Maharashtra, Kerala and Bihar, which is given in your book. So students, Maharashtra has the highest per capita income and Bihar is at the bottom. So if per capita income were to be used as the measure of development, Maharashtra will be considered the most developed state of the three. So students, whatever I told you, that is all related to the public facilities, whatever provided by the government to its particular state. So students, your next topic is public facilities. So, money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. And income by itself is not a completely adequate. So students, money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. And income by itself is not a completely adequate indicator of material goods and services that citizens are able to use. Normally, your money cannot buy the pollution-free environment or ensure that you get unadulterated medicines unless you can afford to shift to a community that already has all these things. And money may also not be able to protect you from infectious disease unless the whole of your community takes preventive steps. Okay? After that, next topic is human development. So students, of an individual in such a way that he can able to earn and fulfill his materialistic desire. After that, human development index. So students, human development index is defined as a composite statistic of life expectancy like education and per capita income indicators, which are used to rank countries in 4 tiers of human development. And it has 3 indicators: life expectancy rate, gross involvement ratio and per capita income. So students, you have to learn in detail about life expectancy rate, gross enrollment ratio and about per capita income, why these are fixed and what is the importance of the 3 indicators of human development. And students, in my previous lecture, as I told you, the public facilities. So students, public facilities is very important, and this is all responsibility of government to provide its citizens of India. Okay. After that, last topic is sustainability of development. So students, since the second half of the 20th century, a number of scientists have been warning that the present type and level of development are not sustainable. And resources are replenished by nature, as in the case of crops and plants. And if we will take example of groundwater, so If we use more than what is being replenished by rain, then we would be overusing these resources. And students, consequences of environmental degradation do not respect national or state boundaries, and this issue is no longer region or nation specific. So students, sustainability of developments comparatively a new area of knowledge in which scientists, economics, philosophers and other social scientists are working together. Alright. After that, chapter number 2, sectors of the Indian economy. So students, I will revise this chapter comparing the three sectors of Indian economy. Number 1 is primary sector. So students, you know very well that when we produce a good by exploiting natural resources, it is an activity of primary sector. For example, agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, etc. And this sector is known as agriculture and related sector. Okay? And secondary sector covers activities in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing that we associate with industrial activities. For example, using cotton fiber from plants, and we spin yarn and weave cloth, etc. So students, this sector gradually became associated with the different kinds of industries that came up, and it is also called as industrial sector. So students, adding the sum of all three sectors would give you the GDP, gross domestic product. And students, we can get GDP when we will plus primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector, and the total production of these three sectors, and when we will add it whatever earned by our country after the total production of these three sectors. And students, GDP shows how big the economy is. After that, tertiary sector. So students, these activities by themselves do not produce a good, but they are an aid or a support for the production process. For example, goods that are produced in the primary or secondary sector would need to be transported by trucks or trains and then sold in wholesale and retail shops. So these activities generate services rather than goods, and it is also known as the service sector. Okay. After that, next topic is value of goods and services in the three sectors are calculated and then added up. So students, economists suggest that the values of goods and services should be used rather than the adding up the actual numbers. For example, a farmer grows cotton and sells it to the textile industry. Now, the textile industry makes it into a shirt, adds button and thread and sells it on a higher rate. Okay. After that, intermediate goods. So students, intermediate goods are used up in producing final goods and services. and the value of final goods already include the value of all the intermediate goods that are used in making the final goods. Understood? And if you want to clear your example, so the example of production of wheat and making flour, and after that using and turn that flour into a biscuit example is given in your book. So students, you can write that example also, and you can understand with the help of this example also. Okay. After that, importance of tertiary sector. So students, in any country there are several services which are required, like hospitals, educational institution, telegraph services, police station, etc. And the development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of services like transport, storage and trade. And due to the demand in income levels, there is a rise in demand for more services. Okay, and new services based on information and technology and communication have become important and essential. That's why students, nowadays tertiary sector is growing at a very faster rate, but still primary sector gives more employment in the compare of tertiary sector, because to do any kind of work and activity in tertiary sector required well-trained and educated person. All right. After that, next topic is underemployment or disguised unemployment. So students, when more people are working than is needed, so this situation is called underemployment or disguised unemployment. And now I will discuss with you about disguised or underemployment on the basis of rural areas and in urban areas. So students, in rural areas, all the family members work in the same field. This means that even if we remove a lot of people from agriculture sector and provide them work somewhere else, then the agriculture production will not be affected. Okay. And after that, this guy's employment related to urban areas. So students, you know very well that there are thousands of casual workers in the service sector who search for daily employment, and many of them don't find work every day. And there are many others like rickshaw pullers or cart pushers on the street selling something, where they may spend the whole day but earn very little. Alright. So students, these are all above the example of disguised unemployment or disguised employment, where people earn very less whatever required by them for their survival. Alright. They are seems to do work, but they are unable to earn enough, okay, to complete the needs and requirement of the family. So student, this is called or known as disguised employment. After that, next topic is government policies and promote employment. So students, if government will open banks, then bank can provide a loan to construct wells to irrigate their lands, or for agriculture workers or for the farmers especially. And if government started to construct any dam, so dam construction will provide employment opportunities as well as irrigation facilities also, and better rural roads and more transportation facilities to be provided to farmers to sell their crops. And if government provide on the credit of local banks inputs like seeds, fertilizers, agriculture equipment and pump sets can be bought. And if government can promote and locate any industries in the semi-rural areas to generate employment like dal mill, cold storage, honey collection centers and processing of vegetable, etc., then government can provide employment to the unemployment people or unemployed people, and government can open schools, and it is also lead to employment to teachers, builders, peons and other staffs. And also for the improvement of health situation, if more doctors, nurses, health workers are needed to work in rural areas, then government can also provide employment to the unemployed people in this way. And students, government also employment can be generated in the area of tourism, regional craft industry or in new services like IT. So students, to solve all type of problems related to unemployment, this central government in India made a law and implementing the right to work in 200 districts of India and then to 130 more. And this is known as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, or in short Manrega. And all those in this policy, all those who are able to and are in need of work are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government. And if the government fails in its duty to provide employment, it will give unemployment allowances to the people. Understood? Okay. After that, division of sectors as organized sector and unorganized sector. So students, you know very well that organized sector is related to the terms of employment regular and follows rules and regulation of Factory Act, Minimum Wages Act and Gratuity Act, etc., and implies register themselves with the government, security of work, work for a fixed number of hours, if work more, paid overtime, and get benefits like paid leaves, payment during holidays and provident fund gratuity, etc. And also organized sector provided medical benefits, safe drinking water and safe working environment to its workers. And in unorganized sector, you can see small scattered units outside the control of government. There is no any rules and regulations followed by the private companies or in unorganized sector. Jobs are low paid and often not regular, and no provision for overtime, paid leave, holidays or leave due to sickness. Employment is also not secure and they may be told to leave the job any time. Lot of them are employed on their own doing small jobs. After that, next topic is how to protect the unorganized sector in rural areas, urban areas and related to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So students, in rural areas, vulnerable people are landless agricultural laborers, small and marginal farmers, sharecroppers and other artisans, weaver, carpenters, etc. So nearly 80% rural households are marginal and small farmers and can be supported by adequate facilities for timely delivery of needs, agriculture inputs, etc. And in urban areas, we can see workers in small scale industry or casual workers, trade and transport, vendors, head load workers, garment makers, rack pickers, etc. And they need government support for providing raw material and marketing of output. And we can protect scheduled caste and scheduled tribes peoples with the help of government policies. And students, we know very well that majority workers are from scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and also from backward communities are working in unorganized sector, and they are earning irregular and low paid work, and they face social discrimination also. So protection and support is needed to get economic and social development. And finally, last topic is sectors on the basis of ownership. So there are two sectors. Number one is public sector and number two is private sector. So students, government owns most of the assets and private provides all the services. For example, railways, post office mean for social benefits or for the all the people of country. And government raises money through taxes and other ways to meet expenses on the services rendered by it. And government provide, subsidize and bear part of the cost to support industries. And government must spend on provision of health and educational facilities. This is all related to the public sector, in which government doing and providing all these facilities and things whatever supported by the government to the people. And finally, private sector. So students, you know very well that ownership of assets and delivery of services is in the hands of private individuals like Tata Iron Steel Company of Reliance Industries, and guided by motive to earn more and more profit. And to get services, we have to pay money. And sometimes private sector is unable to provide several things needed by the people at reasonable rates in the compare of public sector. So students, now revision related to geography and economics is completed now. So students, listen my lecture carefully and also read your main book. And if you have any confusion or doubt, then contact me. All right. Thank you and have a nice day.